Next, we're going to go to News on 6's Brian Dorman.
He's down near Tulsa Hills right now. Brian, what are the conditions like there?
Yeah, Craig, Lori, good afternoon to you. Lori, gosh, I wish I had a grandma to take to church right now. It is freezing out here. Any warm place would be great right now. Of course, everyone wants to know about the roads. We're not that far away from where Emory is. You mentioned Emory's at 71st and Harvard, and we're down by Quick Trip right across from Chick-fil-A here, 71st and near Highway 75. Lots of people asking on social media, how are the roads? Everyone wants to know if we want to go out tonight, if we want to have a date night at a restaurant, can we get out? I'm with photojournalist Wes DeHart. He's giving us a look here at 71st Street as we look up towards Highway 75. And as Emory mentioned, you know, the roads really are not that bad. I was watching Cal Day this morning and he was driving around. The roads really haven't changed that much. Yes, they are lightly snow covered, but you can get out. They are definitely passable. The Tulsa Hills Shopping District, too, I want to mention, for the most part, appears to be open. I noticed Starbucks is closed, and I'm told that Starbucks locations around the city are closed today, as well as Bath and Body Works. But Target, Best Buy, Lowe's, all the restaurants, Chuy's, Texas Roadhouse, Chili's, Buffalo Wild Wings, I noticed all of those are open. All the fast food restaurants are open. Pizza Hut, a delivery car just drove by a moment ago, so they're still delivering pizzas. And on this Valentine's Day, folks are getting out and about and just glad that they're not snowed in.
We are driving because he wants to. We went out for breakfast for Valentine's Day because we figured it would be pretty, and it was actually fairly full.
He's showing off the Jeep.
Basically. He's excited.
How's he doing?
He's fine, mostly.
That family was in a Jeep, and you do see a lot of four-wheel vehicles, Jeeps, trucks, SUVs, but you do see quite a few cars as well. No slide-offs, no accidents. I've been out here since noon with Wes. We haven't seen anything like that. I do want to mention, though, that at least along this stretch of 71st Street here at Tulsa Hills Drive, and you can see up on Elwood, these lights have been blinking for the past couple of hours, and always a reminder to treat those as a four-way stop. And that is where you're going to really want to be careful if you do head out tonight, are the intersections, the parking lots, and any stop signs. Craig, Lori, back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And of course, OHP encourages people to stay home, to not get out if at all possible. But look, let's face it, a lot of folks do need to get out. They need to get to the store. They need to get to work.
All right, now we're going to go to News on 6's Brian Dorman. He's been in the South Tulsa area. Brian?
Yeah, I can't tell you, Craig, Lori, how jealous I am of Emory's assignment today to be in a heated vehicle. We took the buildings around us off of 71st Street. Now we're in wide open space, and I can tell you what, that wind is brutal. I wanted to give us a shot, at least to see what the highway looked like after we showed you the Tulsa Hills area. So we're at Highway 75, and I wanted to just do a quick reminder about the construction work at I-44. You can see things are moving along really well now, but as it's dark tonight, I just want to remind folks, if they have to go out, if you're going northbound into the city from Glenpool, Jinx, or South Tulsa, remember Highway 75 narrows down to one lane, and so that is certainly an adjustment you do not want to make at the last minute when the roads are covered like this with snow. And then, of course, if you're coming the other direction, coming southbound, it doesn't narrow to one lane. They're still open in two, but it kind of does that little jig-jag in that area. And so I just wanted to remind you of that. I just wanted to check and see how the highway was looking. Of course, we expected these roads to look the best because, of course, they were treated first, and so not too bad. I talked to a gentleman that's on his way to Oklahoma City. His girlfriend is a traveling nurse. He says he has no problems going down to the city tonight because they've done such a great job on the roads, and they really do look good. The highway does. I do want to also just mention, because this has been the cut through for the longest time as that construction project started, was through Turkey Mountain, and 61st is closed from here at the highway down as it turns into Elwood down to 71st Street because it has been so icy and so snowy. You'll remember that shut down on Monday with the freezing rain and stayed closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Even through the weekend, and it is still not open. So I just wanted to mention that as well, because that is likely to stay closed until further notice. But when that construction project started, everybody started using Turkey Mountain instead of 71st Street just to be able to get a little bit closer, not have to wait in that traffic. We're going to go from here. We're going to head back to the Tulsa Hills area to Quick Trip with some reminders if you have to get out on the road, some things that you might want to check on, especially if you have a long drive ahead of you tonight. So we'll check back in with you in just a little bit.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. And that is such a heavily traveled area right there, so that's great information to keep in mind, especially with that road construction.
And you can hear that wind on that microphone out there,
doesn't
too.
Sound good.
Just slow down, give everybody around you a lot of room.
And give some space between you and the car in front of you, just in case.
News on 6's Brian Dorman is in the South Tulsa area for us. What's the latest there, Brian?
Yeah, Craig, Lori, we decided just to come back to the quick trip real quick with just some important tips. You know, lots of people are fueling up, and we've seen people come and go right now. You can see kind of, well, they're gone. But there were some people here a few minutes ago getting gas, and on this end, you can see that there's still a couple left that are. Listen, you know, if you're heading out tonight, as we've mentioned, you know, roads are passable. You can get out tonight, even though the snow, as you can see, is starting to fall again now. But, you know, if you're getting gas, it's a good time just to double check, make sure that your air pressure in your tires is good, to make sure that, you know, you have a full tank of gas. You want to stop by a gas station. Windshield wiper fluid is something that's really important if you get salts. Of course, we know how awful that is. If you're on the highway, you have a long drive and you're suddenly out of windshield wiper solvent. In fact, we actually caught up with a guy who was getting ready to head to Oklahoma City, and he was doing just that. Take a look. This is definitely something everybody wants to do, right? Make sure to double check.
Very much so before you leave any place that you're going. It's kind of hard to do when you're already on the road.
Right. How are the roads?
They're actually pretty well maintained. Just as long as you're aware and not going too fast in the back roads, on the neighborhoods or anything. Everything else is actually pretty well maintained for now.
So Matthew, he had the right idea. He's getting ready to take his girlfriend. She's a traveling nurse down to Oklahoma City, and so he wanted to make sure that he had everything he needed for that long drive in this winter storm, and especially now that the snow is starting to at least fall again. I'd be remiss not to mention the roadway, so I want to give you guys a look here with Wes DeHart's my photojournalist. He's giving us a look here. 71st near Highway 75. You know, the biggest question that we get in weather events like this are how are the roads. And that's why we keep showing you, so then you can make a decision on if you think, you know, it's safe for you to come out tonight. You see a lot of big vehicles, but you see cars as well that are getting out. And again, you know, lightly snow covered is how we're calling it. But I think Travis would agree, you know, worst driving conditions in the winter is ice. Second is blowing snow, followed by snow. And the blowing snow is going to be the big concern here tonight, because once they're treated, it doesn't take a lot for the snow to fall back on them. I also want to mention, we saw, Wes and I, the power crew came through here within the past 5 minutes, right before our live shot, and fixed the lights. The light at Tulsa Hills, the light at Elwood was blinking for the past 4 hours and being treated as a four-way stop, of course. We saw a lot of difficulty with the four-way stop here. It's always a little tricky when you have a turn lane. And as Travis mentioned, 9 degrees is the temperature right now where I'm standing, with a north wind of 14, making it feel like it is -9. And I can tell you what, if you are going out tonight, you definitely want to bundle up and just make sure, as we've been saying, just take it easy. And remember, if you have to stop and get gas, check everything else as well. Craig, Lori, back to you.
But we also want to check in on area conditions as well. Brian Dorman is in the 71st and Lewis area. Brian?
Yeah, Lori, well, quite a difference than the last time I saw. As you can see, the snow is falling, and yeah, the roads are starting to snowpack. We're in the Tulsa Hills area, and you know, I thought since the last time I saw you, the roads weren't so bad, that maybe if you're sitting at home thinking, you know, maybe we could do dinner, a date night, that would be, you know, kind of a good idea. But now that the snow is falling, my goodness, in the past 30 minutes, look what's happened. You can't even see the road anymore. They are snowpacked now. And I have noticed some of the smaller vehicles having a tough time spinning their wheels. In fact, one car is stuck right now down by Texas Roadhouse and was unable to budge. I did go through this area, though, for you, just in case you do have four-wheel drive and you are thinking, you know what? We want to get out for Valentine's Day. I wanted to see what's open for you and what is closed. So I called around, I checked around, I ran inside real quick to ask. Cracker Barrel closed at 4 o'clock. Chili's is where we're live right now. Chili's actually just closed at 5 o'clock. There's people that are still eating, but they're not accepting any more seating. Hideaway Pizza is closing at 6, still open for another hour. Buffalo Wild Wings is staying open, I'm told, until 2 a.m. I know that's not exactly first of mind when you think date night, but it is an option. Texas Roadhouse is open till 10 p.m. tonight, but they said, the manager told me, may actually close early because the weather is getting bad again. And I do want to mention that closed Qdoba, Sushi Fork, Starbucks, Bath & Body, Sonic, all in Tulsa Hills, all closed right now. Ted's is closed, Chewy's is closed. I do want to mention, though, Target is open and will be staying open until 10 o'clock tonight. And I was inside Target. There's not a lot of people in there. Definitely different than when I was in Target yesterday. We did 30 minutes to check out. Today, of course, nobody inside, but they're open till 10 tonight. And a little bit of a pro tip, because all the Starbucks in the area are closed, the one inside Target is open until 6:30. And also, if you just want to stay home and not even try to come out or do any of these date options, Pizza Hut is also open and delivering right now as well. Back to you guys.
Boy, the conditions changed fast, didn't they?
It sure did, which is exactly what was predicted. So, hey. So News on 6's Brian Dorman is live for us near the Tulsa Hills area. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Craig. Hi, Lori. Good evening to both of you. What a difference these past few hours have made. When that second band started around 5:30, as you can see, it is still snowing from when it began earlier this evening. It's causing a lot of trouble here on the roads. Want to show you 71st Street. We're at Quick Trip, right across from Arby's and Chick-fil-A, heading up toward Highway 75. You can see one car here with the emergency hazard lights on. This car is actually stuck on the median right there. And I want to show you video that we took here within the past half hour showing really cars having a difficult time getting up just this little hill to get up to Highway 75. In fact, this car that we were showing, I watched as it was going up, couldn't make it, turned around, went against one-way traffic, tried to get on the other side, went up over the median, and that's where that car got stuck. And it wasn't the only one. In this video, you can see police actually with another vehicle at the top of the hill that couldn't make it down. They escorted that vehicle down backwards onto, of course, one-way traffic, and then a third car stopped at the base of the hill because of everything going on and wasn't able to move and got stuck in its place. We were able to talk to a woman who was actually on her way to work from Manford. Listen to what she has to say.
On the way in, it was mostly, braving the roads. They're pretty rough, but there's not a whole lot of people out, so that's good.
For those that are watching right now wondering if they should go out, what kind of advice do you have? Obviously, the snow's picked back up again.
Right, if you can stay in, then you should, definitely.
And April is a nurse at Parkside Psychiatric Hospital. She said she'll be staying the night there tonight for her shift. This storm, as Travis has pointed out, is going to be remembered for not only the snow, but the cold. Take a look at the flag behind me at Canes, the American flag and the Canes flag. That north wind right now just howling in at 13 miles an hour, bringing the 5-degree temperature here in Tulsa Hills down to -11. That is the real feel temperature with the wind chill here tonight. Craig, Lori, back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you very much.
So now let's see what it's like right now in South Tulsa.
News on 6's Brian Dorman is at Tulsa Hills tonight. Brian, how are things looking for you? You hearing us okay? Brian, how are things looking for you? You hearing us okay?
And being here along the highway earlier because there is nothing blocking that north wind. But I wanted to be able to give you guys a look at Highway 75, because people like April that we met earlier that have to work at Parkside tonight, they have no choice but to take these main roads. As JD mentioned earlier, of course, the east-west streets and the highways have it worse than the north-south highways and roadways do. As you can see on 75, you have at least one good lane. But with blowing snow, they come through, they plow it and clear it, and then, boy, before you know it, it's already covered again. But as far as 75 goes, it doesn't look too bad. We haven't seen much traffic, but the good news is I'm with Wes DeHart, photojournalist tonight, as he gives us this look. When we look down towards you all, toward the city, and then we will look back towards Glenpool and Jinx, we don't see any hazard lights, no emergency vehicles, no slide-offs, and no accidents. So that is very good news. It seems at this point like most people are staying home, and really honestly, as we saw with the hill just on 71st Street coming up to Highway 75, unless you have four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, it's going to be a really, really tough go. But we do realize that some folks like April, have to be at work tonight. So this is what it looks like along 75. Speeds are about, 40, 50 miles an hour. As long as you take it slow, you should be just fine, I suppose, if you have at least an SUV. Craig, Lori, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brian. For a guy who likes palm trees, that's a tough assignment
that is a tough assignment right there.
For sure.
We want to find out more about the driving conditions in our area tonight.
News on 6's Brian Dorman is live for us near Tulsa Hills. Brian, how is it there now?
Yeah, Craig, Lori, not great. I want to show you this is happening here live. This is a Mercedes up trying to get to the top of this hill and can't. And we've seen this play out time and time again. This is 71st up to Highway 75. We're at the Quick Trip right across from McDonald's, Arby's, and Chick-fil-A. And this vehicle, this is a one-way street, was not able to make it to the top of the hill up to Highway 75 and is now backing down and trying to go a little bit forward, not able to do it, going back down. And again, here, this is the problem, is it's one-way traffic. So what do? Well, you see this car that has its hazard lights on? It was in the same situation that this Mercedes is in. And what it did was it turned around, went against one-way traffic, and then panicked and went up over the median to try to get on the other side, and wasn't able to, and is now stuck. Its tires are on both sides of the median, and there's no way out of that situation. But what is happening right here with this Mercedes, we've seen now nearly a dozen times with smaller vehicles not able to make it up the top of this hill. And of course, that is a bad situation when it's a one-way street like this. And so that is a bit of a problem here on these snow-packed roads. We were able to talk to a woman, her name's April, on her way into work. I want you to hear from her.
On the way in, it was mostly, you know, braving the roads. They're pretty rough, but there's not a whole lot of people out, so that's good.
For those that are watching right now wondering if they should go out, what kind of advice do you have? Obviously, the snow's picked back up again.
Right, if you can stay in, then you should, definitely.
And again, back out here at 75 and Highway 75, or 71st, I should say. Again, this is the reason why. Now you have another vehicle at the top of the hill, also struggling. A police officer here, the driver of that Mercedes, just getting out of the vehicle. So again, this is why you shouldn't be out with, I mean, especially if you don't have all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And really, in Tulsa Hills, nothing is open now. Even McDonald's is closed. And you know, when McDonald's shut down, it's a heck of a storm. Buffalo Wild Wings open till 2 a.m., the only establishment open right now in Tulsa Hills. Lori, Craig, back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. We appreciate our crews out in the field in this cold weather.
All right, we want to see what it's like now in South Tulsa.
Let's go to News on 6's Brian Dorman. He's at Tulsa Hills tonight. Brian?
Oh yeah, having a lot of fun out here, Craig, Lori. I'm on the hillside. Wish I had a sled, but I'm not having that kind of fun here tonight. Want to show you what Highway 75 looks like. If you have to get out tonight, it's likely because you have to go to work, and it's likely you'll take a primary road. Brandon was mentioning earlier that the east-west roads, of course, are worse. That's because of the blowing snow. North-south, not as bad, but these are not great. You have one good lane, it's the inside lane, and traffic is moving when it does. As you can see, not a lot of people out at the moment, about 40-45 miles an hour. Quickly, I want to show you what the secondary roads look like. An east-west road, this is 61st Street, we're up near Turkey Mountain, a little bit different. Of course, the wind blows across and it packs it down a little bit better. So just want to give you an idea what the primary, secondary roads look like in case you have to go to work tonight. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you can stay home. The big question is, what will it look like by tomorrow morning? Hopefully the snow stops and road crews will be able to clear things up before you head into work in the morning. Lori, Craig, back to you.
Thank you, Brian, so much again.